Welcome back into the film room. I'm your host, Eric Turner. And in today's Cover 1 Film Room feature, we're going to spotlight Ray Davis's 152 yards from scrimmage from the Week 6 win against the New Jersey Jets. While this breakdown is going to highlight many of the outstanding plays by Davis, you're going to realize that the Bills linemen and skilled players had a major hand in the success of the rookie. In weeks 1 through 5, the Bills running backs only averaged 2.65 yards before contact per rush, which was 25th in the NFL. In this game alone, that dropped to 2.08. In the game against the Jets, Davis alone only got 1.4 yards before first contact. So while the O-line did get displacement at times, it was still a grind for the offense. But it's Davis's decisiveness, physicality, and ability to finish runs that helped him boost the run game. While the line only blocked up on average 1.4 yards for Davis, he averaged 3.45 yards post-contact per rush. His ability to make people miss really shined with the extra workload. On the season, the Bills are ranked 19th in tackle avoid percentage, making defenders miss 17% of the time on running back runs only. Davis, in this game, averaged 35% against the Jets defense, on top of being a threat in the pass game when needed. So without further ado, let's jump into the film room to break down Ray Davis versus the Jets. The Bills set the tone early, the offensive line with their physicality and creating displacement, but also what the running backs wanted to do and the scheme wanted to do. They wanted to attack the Jets corners and make them tackle, specifically Sauce Gardner off the right-hand side here. On the first run play by Ty Johnson, Johnson got outside on the edge and had a nice gain. Sauce missed a tackle there. He missed a couple tackles in this game. And this is just a nice north and south decisive run on this duo run by Davis. Not taking a loss here, not trying to do too much, get north and south. And the Bills used this personnel grouping with the extra offensive lineman several times with Davis as a running back. 8 times he carried the ball for 35 yards when there was an extra offensive lineman, so 6 linemen on the field. So he averaged 4.4 yards per carry, and this is not some flashy run, but he's decisive. He gets north and south. He doesn't take the loss here. He takes what he can get. He covers up the ball, and he lives to see another day. On the very next play, 2nd and 7, Davis and the Bills get 14 yards on a mid-zone weak run. We see him break the tackle. But look at the displacement from this angle. Look at the displacement by Torrance and Brown here and how they reset that line of scrimmage, drive that D tackle to that second level, and then the cut by Davis to get north and south, make that safety miss, and then finish that run. Just beautiful stuff on this mid-zone run. The type of run that is supposed to hit up inside. Just really good decisiveness and contact balance by Davis on this play. Here it is from the end zone angle. Immediate cut. You see Quincy Williams come down here, and so we have a man-on-man situation on the weak side of this run. And there's no way Davis is going to get outside, so he cuts it back. And it's just such a nice hole because of the displacement by O'Cyrus Torrance and Spencer Brown, and then making the guy miss when that contact comes from a defensive back. Make that guy miss, and he does. I love how he covers up the ball, shifts his lower body to absorb that hit, and then just drops the pads. And like I said at the beginning, finishes the run for a 14-yard gain. 1st and 10 situation here, 6-yard gain by Davis, but I want you to watch the displacement that left guard David Edwards gets on Quinnen Williams. I mean, it's such a good block that Dawkins can't even curl around and insert on the full block. Instead, Edwards leads Davis for 6 yards on this play. So watch the arm extension right there. Edwards gets leverage, and normally Dawkins is folding inside right here on 44, but because of the movement by Williams trying to retrace over the top and then the vertical displacement, Dawkins isn't able to get to that next level, so he just kind of falls in line right behind Edwards, trying to pick him up, number 44, late in the play. But this movement by David Edwards on one of the best defensive tackles in the league was special on this initial drive of the Bills, and that is why Davis is barely touched till he gets 5 yards down the field, and he's able to pick up 6 total on first down. 2nd and 4 situation here. Bills get a 5-yard gain from Davis here. Allen checked into this play. You can see him alert at the beginning of this play. And the Jets were like, you know what? We see the personnel grouping. We see the extra offensive lineman, 2 tight ends once again. Same concept and personnel grouping that we saw in the 14-yard gain, where Davis cut it back right here between Brown and Torrance. And they said, you know what? We're going to have 3 linebackers on the field now. And we're going to muddy some things up on the front side of this play. So on the snap, what they do is they spike a D end inside. They spike the D tackle right here. And then what they're trying to do is keep Mosley free. So they're trying to keep him free to make the tackle in the hole on Davis. But he hesitates just a little bit. So watch Mosley. He hesitates a little bit because, again, that cutback on that first play happened back here. So he's worried about that cutback. But Davis is patient. He remains front side on this play. You see a little burst away from Mosley. And yes, Mosley makes a tackle. But that's after Davis committed to the front side, stayed patient, and got 5 yards on the play, and then finishes the run. When they go to tackle you, you want them to feel your contact and physicality, and he does by finishing it on this run for the 5-yard gain. First and 10 situation here, 15-yard gain by Davis on the same concept, mid-zone weak. Bills have Alec Anderson in on the play, only 1 tight end on this one, but you see the cut and finish by Davis on this run, just gorgeous stuff by the Bills O-line and Davis. I love how he paces this run versus the run stunt from the Jets. He doesn't just attack 100% at the line of scrimmage, opens up to the tackle. That's his aiming spot. You see him take his steps, and usually by the time he gets that handoff, 3 steps or so, he's got to have a decision in mind. And this is a smart one. You see him make a cutback right here as Torrance climbs to that next level. Jets do a good job of trying to run stunt here and create confusion and muddy it up so that they can get this linebacker over the top. But the Bills are ready, specifically Osiris Torrance. You see him scoop to that next level, and boom, wall that guy off just enough to give Davis that lane to cut back. And Davis does the rest, man. Gets north and south. Again, that timing perfect. Sees the defenders of the Jets and just lowers his shoulder, lowers the boom, covers up the ball, and nearly scores on this play from 1st and 10 on a mid-zone weak run with an extra offensive lineman on the field. Still on that first drive, 1st and 6 situation here, 5-yard gain with 6 minutes, 37 seconds left in that first quarter. What do you know? Same concept, different personnel grouping, different formation. So Bills line up in 12 personnel with Samuel out wide here on the right. He comes across a formation. You can see what that does to the second level, right? Bumps those guys a gap to the left side of the screen. But more importantly, this is what Brady did a bunch. He pulled guys away from the point of attack when he was trying to run, using motion and Samuel on this play. Well, guess what? They're still running mid-zone weak here. And you can see the Jets trying to muddy it up again. That guy spikes inside to try to muddy that up. But Dawkins adjusts, attacks him, picks him up, as does Edwards on Quincy Williams. And then you could just see Davis bounce it outside and says, you know what? Look at the hole here. Easy 5 yards for him, getting outside on the perimeter and then finishing that run right at the goal line. 1:55 left in the first quarter, 2nd and 10 situation. Davis gets 4 yards here, but this is that point in the game where the Bills found a nice groove with some of their formations and personnel groupings. This one was 12 personnel, so 1 running back, 2 tight ends on the field, but more importantly, the Bills are motioning to this 4-strong formation, and the Jets chose to match up with a linebacker over here over Kincaid, but more importantly, they were bringing a defensive back down into the box with a corner over the top of Dawson Knox, one of the tight ends. And the Bills run dart, one of their core concepts. But as you can see, as I talked about on the last play, look at what the Bills do with the tight end at the point of attack. Knox, rather than blocking, he just runs off Sauce Gardner. To the bottom of the screen, the Bills have, a little screen set up for Kincaid if they want to get rid of it there. And so they make the Jets honor that. So that holds this defender. And again, you have that safety down in the box. Bills run dart and they get outside for a 4-yard gain. Could have been a bigger play if Davis doesn't get tripped up here. But this is what Brady did when the Jets, a team who plays a lot of man coverage, went to man coverage. He did some things to pull defenders out of the box. He ran guys off Like you see here, Sauce Gardner's in man coverage. He's just running with Knox. I mean, that's as good as a block. And on this play, with Dart coming and Dawkins wrapping around, see him get a piece of that edge player and the burst and acceleration by Davis. But he just gets tripped up on this play. But this was just the beginning of when the Bills started to attack via the ground game from shotgun, using 4 strong formations and trips formations to get advantageous matchups in and around the box. We are now in the second quarter, 11:29 on the clock, 2nd and 10 situation. This is the 42-yard reception from Josh Allen to Ray Davis on one of their base concepts. And on a play, I thought Josh had someone other than Davis in his progressions, but chose to extend the play and get the explosive play down the field. So you see motion from Davis, man zone indicator, doesn't give away too much, but the Bills are running what I like to call H-wheel to the top of the screen. So a curl, a rub route by Keon Coleman, swing to rail from Davis. Usually Bills want to run this versus man coverage, which you're going to see here to the top of the screen. Now, if that is covered up to the trip side, you have a return route from Shakir, but he does have the option to hook it up right here over the middle, which he does on this play. Why follow is what I call this 3-man concept to the bottom of the screen. You're going to have Kincaid running usually 11 or 12-yard dig route, essentially following in behind Shakir. It's a good play over the middle to attack the middle of the field. And then usually Hollins is running a go, or he can hook it up as well, stop at the bottom of the screen. So H-wheel to the top, Y follow to the bottom. Josh usually reads left to right from his perspective, and you see him do that, but the Jets do a good job of getting the linebacker up over the top. So Josh moves on his progression. I think he has Shakir right here. I think he can throw this with the pocket, not that bad right here. I think Josh should just throw this on 2nd and 10 and take what he can get. The dig route behind Shakir is taken away because of that contact and because of that flag. So Josh gets a free play. He gets outside the pocket, and watch Davis run down the field, uncover, waving the entire time. I'd like to see him just keep running, because waving his hands the entire time there kind of slows him down. But he finds some green, he finds some real estate, and he's able to bring it in for the big play down the field. Now, I don't think Davis needed to jump to catch this, and he admitted that in his post-game presser. It kind of just throws off the timing of the catch, and he double catches it. But either way, he reeled it in. He made Josh right on this play down the field for the explosive play in the passing game. 2:49 left in the first half. This is an 8-yard reception from Davis right before the half. Quick, easy decision by Josh, and a play that he didn't quite make last week against the Texans. So similar type play that you saw in the last play. So it's trip set motion. And so now you have to watch the linebacker here and the safety, because what teams have been doing, especially what the Texans did last week, is they were covering the running back Cook out of the backfield with their safeties at safety depth. And so on the last play, you saw the linebacker Quincy Williams take Davis on that swing or rail route. This time, that linebacker is actually rushing off the edge. And so now Ashtyn Davis is responsible for Davis on the backside of this play. Josh sees that pressure coming. He sees his outlet. He gets it to him quickly with a nice throw. And Davis is able to pick up 8 yards by finishing that reception there. Good tackle in the open field by Davis. If Davis doesn't make this tackle, there's a good chance that you're getting a house call from Davis. But I like the decisiveness by Josh. I like how Joe Brady and this offensive staff trust Davis enough to have him in on this 2-minute drive prior to half. And good work. Josh just getting it out to his guys and seeing what they can do in the open field. And 8 yards on first down is a win all day. On the very next play, it's a 2nd and 2 situation, 2:07 on the clock. Bills show trips to the bottom of the screen. As I talked about earlier, they run dart on this play into the trip side, into the bottom of the screen. So once again, that brings this formation and personnel grouping, brings a defensive back into the line of scrimmage, into the box. Bills run dart. You see Dawkins come around and pull. This guy forces Davis to bounce outside. So what does he do? He spills it and he's trying to spill it to these guys who are going to be fast flowing over the top. But the Bills are ready for that. Look how quickly McGovern and Brown get out and cover up those guys at the second level. And then there is the lane right there. 8 yards. 8 yards thanks to formations, personnel groupings, and the offensive linemen scooping to the next level to pick up those defenders and cover them up so that Ray Davis can get into that second level on this dart run. Same drive, 45 seconds left in the first half. First and 10 situation. This is a tough 4-yard gain on a mid-zone weak run here. Davis, once again, just cutting it back into the strength on the backside here. So you get the eye candy by Curtis Samuel. And again, that pulls this guy out of the box. These guys have to bump. That puts number 23 in the box. And so it's meant to be a cutback play. So you get some movement here at the point of attack by Brown. You see Hollins kind of fold inside on 23. And the cutback is nice. You see the contact balance. Look how that cutback contact balance right there keeps his shoulder square, gets north and south. And it's not a flashy run, but it's a tough, grinded out type 4-yard run that really, once again, set the tone for the type of run game that the Bills brought. And it's a slightly different run game when you have James Cook running this versus when you have Ray Davis or even Ty Johnson to a certain extent running this. It's a lot more physical when Davis is carrying the ball. There's a lot more lean behind those pads and ability to finish plays and punish guys that are trying to tackle him. You look how many guys it takes to bring him down. That's what he brings to the Bills offense. We are now in the second half, 13:30 in the third quarter. The Bills are up 20-17. This is a 2nd and 5 play here where Davis gets 5 yards, and the Bills went back to the extra offensive lineman personnel grouping, but they also went back to the plan of attack of making corners on the Jets tackle. So you think the Jets are sick of seeing mid-zone weak here? Look what they do. They bring Ashton Davis right into this B gap. Even after you saw that motion across the formation, they're not pulling him out of the box anymore to the left side. So they're sick of seeing this play. So they take that away. But again, the Bills are running duo. They're going to the strong side of the formation. So they're getting double teams at the point of attack. They're getting that displacement. And this is the read. The Mike's the read. If he comes downhill like he does here in this gap, Davis has to bounce it. And he's one-on-one with Sauce Gardner. And he makes Gardner miss. This is what Davis brings to the offense as opposed to James Cook. Cook is going to make guys miss by breaking angles with his quickness or speed. Davis can do that, but he also can do it with physicality, running behind the pads, slipping tackles. Look at him churn those legs. Churn those legs, break those arm tackles, carry guys to the first down marker. That is what he brings to the Bills offense that Cook doesn't necessarily do. 6:13 left in the third quarter. This is a 1st and 15 situation. It's a 6-yard run with the score knotted up at 20. Davis showing off some good vision, patience, and ability to set up blocks and make guys miss on this play. Jets are stacking the line of scrimmage. They're throwing everyone in these gaps as the Bills run this zone run. And look at the patience here by Davis. He could have easily just gotten up inside right here for a few yards. But look at him set this block up and set this cut up right there. Look at the footwork. Ooh, jump cut. Gets his feet right under him. He's on to the next guy. Now, right here, he could easily, again, just gone north and south right here. But look at him set up this linebacker right there with another hesitation and acceleration to the outside. We got to see a little bit of everything. Some of that power, some of that shiftiness, some of that elusiveness on this play. And then the vision to find the outside and to get to the perimeter on this play for a 6-yard gain on 1st and 15. 9:44 left in the game. Score is knotted up at 20. 1st and 10 situation here. Davis gets 8 yards, showing off that acceleration and vision once again to get on the perimeter of the Jets defense. Something that is tough to do with how much wide 9 and how wide the DNs play in their scheme. But Bills, once again, 4 strong. Got trips down here, and then obviously the motion by Davis to the right of Josh puts them in a 4 strong formation. And they're just running zone weak once again. And they're getting a hat on the front side here. Dawkins, Edwards, McGovern. And they're leaving the backside defensive end unblocked. That guy can't just chase down the line of scrimmage like you normally see on these zone runs. Why? Because you have the threat of Josh Allen, the runner, to go and pair with this screen here. So you're pulling guys away from the formation. You're holding guys on the backside, and you're even holding this guy that's unblocked, this linebacker that's unblocked because of that mesh and threat of Allen, the rusher. All of that leads to a nice 8-yard burst outside by Davis for a good chunk play on first down. Look at the patience and acceleration by Davis on this play. Initially, it looks like he's going to jump right up into this gap right here, and then Quincy can break off that block and make the tackle. He sets him up with a really nice jump cut out wide to get the perimeter. And again, watch 44 chasing Davis from the backside. How he kind of has to hold up right there at the mesh point and trying to figure out, well, is Davis committing inside? He doesn't. And so now Davis is running laterally down the line of scrimmage, creating that separation away from that unblocked linebacker so that he can get outside, turn the corner, and gain 8 yards. The injury to Cook could be a blessing in disguise in many ways. It allowed the rookie Davis to get in rhythm and to get a feel for the game. But it was also good for the staff to see in-game situations and what he brings to the team. In this game, Ty Johnson started well. But once Davis entered, the staff rode the hot hand. Maybe they do more of that even when Cook returns. Davis is a closer fit to the mentality that this staff has attempted to weave into this offense. He pairs well with the downhill run scheme, the nastiness of the hog mollies up front, but he also brings a level of physicality that this staff is looking for. Don't be surprised if Davis eats into some of Cook's carries, especially if the Bills want to run certain concepts based on their opponent. I don't think the Bills lose anything when he enters the lineup. He only adds to what the team wants philosophically. If you like that breakdown, please smash that like button, leave us a comment in the comment section, and subscribe to the Cover One YouTube channel. I'm your host, Eric Turner, owner of Cover One, host of the Film Room every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Until our next breakdown, go Bills.